Hi everybody, Karen Roby here with Taryn and Ray from ZDNet, and we're talking today about a new report that shows that retailers, they know what you're going to return before you even buy it. That sounds a little backwards, it sounds a little strange here, Tiernan, so break this down for us.
Karen, you know, in that movie with Tom Cruise, Minority Report, the police forces have a way to predict what you're going to do in the way of criminal behavior. And not only do they predict it, they go out and they stop you before you commit the crime, but then they also punish you once they've gotten a hold of you as if you had committed the crime. So some researchers at Myntra, which is an Indian e-commerce outfit, which is part of Flipkart, which is a company in which Walmart, among others, holds a large investment, did some machine learning research to see could they maybe figure out what items you're about to buy that are in your shopping cart that you're probably going to end up returning. And the reason they did this is the problem of returns is a big economic issue for a lot of companies. They spend a lot of money to take stuff back, take it back for free, ship it back to their warehouses. It's out of stock while you're playing around with it in your possession, and they don't get a chance to sell it, so it's missed sales. So it's a huge economic cost. And so what they did is they said, we can probably look at all the things that you've bought and people like you, and we could probably look at the history of this particular piece of apparel, let's say this shirt, and we can mix all of the data together and come up with a score. Is this item for you something that probably will be returned? And so they can look at your shopping cart. You might have, let's say, 3 versions of the same blouse in different colors. And they're going to say probably 2 of those blouses are going to be returned. They don't say it explicitly, but what they're talking about, right, is showrooming. You're buying this stuff, it's free shipping, and you really want to try it on at home because you can't try it in a virtual online store. And so you're just going to end up sending 2 back. And so they say that statistically, they can tell with pretty good accuracy using this machine learning model just when things are going to be returned just by looking at your shopping cart.
Wow. Well, and you know, obviously it's convenient. There are so many things that I do want to try on at home. I don't, that's the beauty of it, is that you can order it all, try on what you want and keep, and then send back the things that don't work out. So in terms of, though, this is where I find this is really interesting, or a little scary too, is that there are ways they are trying to incentivize you from returning, or essentially blocking your return. Talk about that.
That's right. That is kind of the spookier part of this, Karen. As we said in Minority Report, even after they've prevented a crime, they punish you as if you've done the crime. You're now guilty of being a despicable person. So in the case of this Myntra experiment, they actually, in real time with real shoppers, tested out incentives. Once they had determined, as they thought, with high statistical accuracy that you would probably return these items, they said, let's see what happens if we change the messages you get before you check out. So if you're someone who might be likely to return these particular items, we're going to do a deal with you. We're going to send you a pop-up message and say, we will give you a discount if you agree to click this box that these items are no longer returnable. So the vast majority of shoppers get this free returns policy. You, this individual, get this incentive, this deal. You're going to get a markdown if you agree not to return them. They also did things playing around with shipping costs. You know, this is going to be higher shipping cost unless you want to make it a permanent purchase and not return it. And they claim that this is, again, something that is reliable as having an effect on reducing returns in the real world.
Wow, that's, you know, there's been so many, I feel like, changes, and obviously the evolution of retail, you know, how we're seeing so many changes, Taryn, but this is definitely taking it to a different level. They're anticipating something before you even paid for it.
They are, and you know, it goes further, Karen, because this same group is doing research on how can you predict items are going to be desirable even as far back as when they're being designed. You know, they have these runway shows in the fall, and it's for a forward season. And this kind of research can ultimately sort of filter back up through the stack to design, and they could say, we just know in anticipation what you're talking about as your new apparel line is going to be returned by people in such and such degree, or we know it's not going to sell as well, so we want to give it less prominence in the store. So all of this kind of predictability via statistics starts to bleed into the rest of the retail practice and force people to reconsider all these things they used to take as, pretty good heuristics, like a buyer knows what sells in what season. But a buyer who knows what sells in what season is not the same as a computer model that says, we've looked at Karen's purchases and we have these many people who we think are kind of like Karen's behavior. And so we're going to start to tell you, say the merchandiser or the product maker, what is going to sell, what's going to be returned, and what volumes, and maybe to an increasing degree of accuracy.
Well, I do a lot of returning, so I should be a good a good case study for him. Yeah, oh, I am for sure. I like to try things on at home, I will say. Well, do you see, Tiernan, that this is, I mean, this is something that sounds like will spread to, the rest of retail, really?
It could. We don't know, Karen, is these are tests that have been done in a while, but they're tests, they're experiments. And if you were one of the few people who got an incentive, how would you even know unless you were reading a ZDNet article that you were treated differently? And so it's possible to imagine a future where there's a battle over, do nice retailers, do the good guys do this? Is there a pushback from consumers? Some would say, the only way I'm going to sell, buy online is if I get free returns. If you're going to start to take that away, I can't try on stuff, I can't send it back. Forget it. Items such as apparel, people may just move away. And so we don't yet know, even if this seems to work statistically for the retailer, what will be the public reaction to this and what will be the reaction of competing retailers who might say, we're going to be the good guys and promise you not to do that.
Never ceases to amaze me what they can do in the retail sector. Tiernan, always a great conversation with you. We thank you so much, and make sure you check out ZDNet for Tiernan's full article.